I'm a 42-year-old guy still processing everything, mostly just getting through each day on autopilot right now. Strangely, there's a kind of calm settling in. 3 days ago, Tuesday afternoon, I was deep in spreadsheets and deadlines when my phone buzzed. It was my wife, Claire, 39. Her message was short and brutal. Daniel, I'm finished with this marriage. From now on, speak only to my attorney, Mr. Thompson. His information is coming shortly. 15 years together, erased in a single text. No warning, no conversation. The night before we'd eaten dinner like normal, chatting about weekend errands and nothing out of the ordinary. I sat staring at those words for a solid 5 minutes. Shock, hurt, anger, all churning underneath, but outwardly I felt strangely clear-headed. She had just drawn the boundary. Lawyers only. Fine. I typed back exactly 2 words. Got it. Then the practical side took over. If we were restricted to legal channels, the casual understandings we'd built over the years no longer applied. We'd always managed money mostly separately, a habit I picked up after watching my parents' nasty split. She had her own checking account. I had mine. The credit cards she used were supplementary ones tied to my accounts. Authorized user privileges I'd given her, nothing joint. I opened the banking apps, removed her as an authorized user on every card, and deactivated them. Done. The monthly personal allowance I'd sent her automatically? I logged in, canceled the recurring transfer, effective right away. Streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and others were registered under my name. I signed out every device she might have access to and updated all passwords. If she wanted those, she could subscribe herself. Her car was leased in my name, with insurance in my name too. I left the insurance active for now. Didn't want to create road safety issues, but I noted the lease details for my attorney to address transfer or termination soon. The gas card linked to one of the now canceled credit cards? Useless. The whole process took maybe half an hour. Not spite, just adjusting to the new framework she had imposed. She'd insisted on lawyers only. So be it. Lawyers operate on formal terms, not unspoken marital habits. About an hour later, her attorney's contact info arrived by email. I forwarded it straight to Ms. Harper, a highly regarded divorce lawyer a colleague had recommended. I wrote her a quick summary. Wife texted demanding divorce and lawyers-only communication. I complied. Need immediate guidance on protecting assets, next moves, retainer info. I wrapped up my workday, drove home to an empty house. She'd clearly packed while I was gone, and slept surprisingly well. Fast forward 72 hours. Friday afternoon, an unfamiliar number rang. I suspected who it was. Hello, is this Daniel last name? A tense, hurried male voice. Yes, speaking. This is Mr. Thompson, representing Claire, last name. My client is having serious problems. I stayed level. Okay. Her cards were declined. All financial access cut off abruptly. That's highly irregular. Mr. Thompson, I answered evenly. On Tuesday, my wife sent a text stating she wants a divorce and that all future contact must go through you. I followed her instruction precisely. Papers shuffled on his end. She requires money immediately for necessities, housing. Genuine question, where is she staying? That's not relevant. You took action in bad faith by cutting her off without warning. Mr. Thompson, my tone dropped colder. My wife unilaterally declared the marriage over via text and mandated lawyer-only contact. She shattered the existing trust and communication. Any future financial arrangements will be handled through proper legal channels. You and my counsel, Ms. Harper, whom I've retained. Long silence. My client is requesting emergency financial assistance. She can file the motion with my attorney. You have Ms. Harper's contact information. Yes, he said curtly. Excellent. As per my wife's explicit instruction, this conversation is concluded. Goodbye. I hung up, pulse racing, but also a sense of validation. She demanded formal and detached. She was getting exactly that. 1 week later, a full week since that text, things unfolded more or less as anticipated. Thanks to everyone who commented or messaged. Your support means a lot and reassures me I'm not losing perspective. Ms. Harper replied the same day I reached out. Mr. Thompson had already phoned her. She's razor sharp and confirmed my steps were logical given Claire's message. Her main instruction, document absolutely everything. Mr. Thompson filed his first motion Monday, an emergency request for temporary spousal support, plus exclusive possession of the marital residence. She'd already vacated the place, so the second part felt absurd. The requested amount was exorbitant, meant to maintain her previous standard of living, cover new rent, and pay her legal bills. Pure entitlement. Ms. Harper filed our response, a much more modest figure based on real basic needs, pointing out Claire had left the home voluntarily, and emphasizing that her own lawyer's only demand prompted my changes to informal support. Then the personal shots began. Wednesday evening, Claire's closest friend, Megan, called. I picked up hoping for some clarity. Big mistake. Daniel, what is wrong with you? No hello. Megan, I said tiredly. Good evening. Don't act clueless. Claire's sleeping on my couch. You froze everything. She can't even buy groceries. You're basically making her homeless. Megan, Claire announced the divorce by text and insisted all communication go through attorneys only. I respected her boundary. That's ridiculous. You know she hardly earns anything. Her freelance graphic design brings in roughly $1,000 a month. It used to be extra spending money before she lawyered up without a word to me. She's terrified. She made an emotional decision. She deserves the support you always gave her. We could have talked like adults. Demanding lawyers only was a very deliberate choice, not a slip. She chose silence over discussion. She'll take you for everything. She's welcome to try. In court. My attorney is handling it. Goodbye. Click. So now I'm painted as the heartless villain simply for obeying her stated rules. Claire is clearly pushing a pure victim storyline. Yesterday, I received a bank notification. Someone attempted a withdrawal from an old, barely used joint savings account holding about $500, money we hadn't touched in years. Claire had apparently located the linked debit card and tried to clear it out. The bank flagged the suspicious activity. I visited the branch, explained the pending divorce, and had them freeze the account until a legal agreement is reached. It isn't really about the small amount. It's about her attempting an end run around her own lawyer while he accuses me of acting improperly. Ms. Harper says this incident bolsters our position. Claire isn't passively waiting. She's actively circumventing the process she herself demanded. The emergency support hearing is scheduled soon. Claire remains at Megan's. Mr. Thompson must have assumed his client would receive unlimited funds. That isn't reality. 3 weeks later, things grew uglier, exactly as expected. The emergency support hearing took place last week. Claire attended, appearing exhausted and avoiding my gaze. Mr. Thompson painted her as penniless and victimized by my vindictive actions. Ms. Harper presented the timeline calmly. The original text establishing lawyers-only communication, bank statements confirming I revoked supplementary card access and stopped the allowance only after that message, proof I continued covering mortgage, utilities, car lease, and insurance, plus records of Claire's attempt to empty the dormant joint account. Evidence also showed her part-time income. The judge didn't buy the dramatic narrative. He questioned Claire directly about why. No prior discussion occurred. She mumbled something about feeling overwhelmed. He looked unconvinced. Result: temporary support granted, but much closer to our proposed figure, enough for essentials and a portion of legal costs, nowhere near her former lifestyle. The judge explicitly referenced her text and the unauthorized withdrawal attempt as factors she contributed to her current circumstances. We avoided the worst outcome, but they didn't stop there. This week, the underhanded moves began. Tactic 1. An anonymous complaint to my company's HR claiming I misused work resources for personal legal issues and exhibited unstable behavior. Completely fabricated. I handled everything on personal devices and email. HR reviewed access logs, discovered zero evidence, spoke with me briefly. I gave context, and the matter was dropped. Clear effort to threaten my employment. Low. Ms. Harper noted it's difficult to trace definitively, but fits an emerging pattern of bad faith. Tactic 2. Claire's mother phoned in tears, accusing me of destroying her daughter's life, insisting the judge was biased, begging for more money. After all the years she devoted to you. Same response. Claire selected this route. Finances are now lawyer-only per her demand. I can't discuss it. She called me heartless and hung up. Endless guilt pressure. They assumed I'd finance her indefinitely. I'm staying methodical rather than emotional. Reaction alone isn't sufficient. I'm locking down my position strictly within legal lines and closing off manipulation paths. The car. Ms. Harper sent a formal letter to Mr. Thompson. With temporary support in place, Claire must assume the lease, if she qualifies, or surrender the vehicle. I will cease payments next billing cycle. Insurance, still active, will expire concurrently, 30 days to resolve. The house. We obtained an order for exclusive possession since she vacated, and the judge denied her request. Appraisal underway for potential sale or buyout. Buyout improbable given her finances. Pushing for complete financial transparency. Suspect undisclosed assets. Concealment carries serious court consequences. I'm logging every harassing or coercive contact. Dates, times, summaries of the job complaint, family guilt calls. Ms. Harper says this accumulating pattern of bad faith will influence the final division and possibly attorney fees. Not vengeance, simply enforcing the legal framework she herself established, especially after their dirty tactics crossed lines. Claire broke her own rule yesterday and texted directly. Daniel, you can't take the car away. How am I supposed to get around? Stop this. I screenshotted it, forwarded to Ms. Harper, and sent one reply. Claire, per your own instruction dated original date. All contact must go through attorneys. Please direct this to Mr. Thompson. Then silence. Final update, 6 months later. 7 months since that initial text. The divorce was finalized last month. It feels like years have passed. The last 6 months were exhausting. Endless filings, negotiations, delays. Mr. Thompson dragged things out. Claire clung to victim status and rejected reasonable proposals. The car became a major flashpoint. She couldn't qualify to assume the lease and refused to return it. Mr. Thompson claimed necessity. Ms. Harper pointed out that temporary support covered basic transportation needs. The deadline expired. I halted payments. The leasing company repossessed the vehicle from Megan's driveway. Hysterical calls from Megan and Claire's mom followed. I forwarded everything to Ms. Harper and ignored the rest. Claire was furious, but legally cornered by her own inaction. The house. Exclusive possession granted to me. Sold relatively quickly. Proceeds placed in escrow pending division. Claire pushed aggressively for a larger portion, citing hardship. Full financial disclosure proved decisive. We compelled her to disclose a hidden savings account funded by Parental Gifts Plus. Inherited stocks she'd never mentioned. Mr. Thompson argued those were separate property. Ms. Harper demonstrated commingling with marital money, so the court treated them as shared. The anonymous HR complaint never traced directly back, but the judge referenced its suspicious timing during final arguments, reinforcing the bad faith pattern. No monetary penalty from it, but it tilted things our way. Final agreement reached just shy of a full trial. In pretrial discussions, the judge signaled frustration with Claire's delays and tactics, hinting at a harsher outcome for her, including possible responsibility for part of my fees. She agreed to settle. House equity divided almost evenly, slightly in my favor due to her concealed assets. Stocks treated as marital and split accordingly. She retained her small personal savings. Spousal support. 2 years rehabilitative only, far below her demands, sufficient for transition but conditioned on her efforts toward self-support. Legal fees. Each side covers their own. A significant win avoiding any obligation for me to pay hers. Aftermath. Claire moved into a small apartment and increased her work hours. She complains constantly about finances, secondhand reports. Megan distanced herself after Claire overstayed her welcome. Her parents are presumably still assisting. No apology ever came. She appears genuinely shocked that I didn't continue subsidizing her life post-divorce. The sense of entitlement ran deep. She assumed her standard of living was permanent. For me, 7 brutal months. Expensive, draining, but I came through intact. Job secure, assets divided fairly, valuable lessons in handling high-pressure situations with logic instead of reaction. I'm hitting the gym regularly, spending time with friends Claire never liked, enjoying the quiet of my own space. No explosive payback, just the slow, inevitable consequences of her decisions meeting steady, lawful resistance. She demanded cold, formal, legal only. That's precisely what she received, along with every bit of financial reality it carried. That feels like enough closure. Thanks again for letting me vent here. It genuinely helped me sort through the chaos. Onward now.